SpongeBob did it better?
Look at it! It's ugly, isn't it? You look at it!
What's up, Netflix fans? We talk all Netflix movies, all of them. So, there's this one. Let's discuss.
Tally, time to wake up. Tally, time to wake up. Good morning.
Alright, like many of these YA adaptations, this is set in a futuristic world, but this time we're imposing a cosmetic surgery on people at age 16. Tally is eager for her turn to join the rest of this obviously not sketchy society, but when a friend runs away, she embarks on a journey to save her that upends everything she thought about this world. While conceptually this is somewhat creative and I could absolutely see how this works in novel form, it seems like something that's tough to adapt because not only do you have to make the idea make a bunch of sense, but also you have to kind of show us, well, how do I phrase this? When the transformation happens in this movie from ugly to pretty, I feel like the movie needed to do more to kind of convince us that they went from ugly to pretty, other than just kind of Facetune filter, smooth their skin, add in possibly a little bit of CGI, take away like a freckle here and there, and color their hair, put some makeup on. I mean, that's about all it does. And I'm like, is that really what you're looking forward to, Joey King? Because there are points where I'm like, you wouldn't look all that different. Let's be honest. And there are numerous characters in this movie that are just like, God, I'm so ugly and I want to be beautiful, but really they look like handsome Squidward already. And so you can't go from handsome Squidward to even more handsome Squidward. What are they talking about?
Oh no, he's hot!
And they just say weird things to each other too. They're like, you would be a lot prettier without those squinty eyes. I mean, that's a line of dialogue used in the movie, and I'm like, you bitch! Okay, let's disregard some of the stupidity here, and again, I'm going to chalk that up to this is a tough thing to adapt because you have to make it believable, and they were at a disadvantage from the start. I believe thematically, there are some good ideas in this movie. You know, we've seen them countless times. Be yourself, yada, yada, yada. If you have a brain, you can figure it out, but I like what they're trying to achieve and strive for at points. That is important, but the execution has to be there. And so this isn't me trying to be harsh on the message. Some messages are dumb in it, but the overall message, this is me being harsh on the execution. This is directed by McG. McG and I have an interesting relationship, just me and his movies, to where some of them I'm like, yeah, it's kind of underrated, and others I'm like, yeah, let's never watch that again.
Look at it!
And doing these YA adaptation reviews are tough because you have the fans. I understand completely, entirely, you're going to love it no matter what. But some of you all are going to kind of see, at least on its surface, and I don't know anything about the novel, but I'm just feeling here that this was a lot better on paper. Again, it's a tough thing to adapt, but the way they went about this, such rampant pacing to where you never get time to sit back and breathe, take a second, spend some time with our characters, because every time we spend time with our characters here, we just ramp back up to the next thing. And, you know, again, on its surface, it's like, oh, that's a good thing, Austin. They're trying to keep you on your toes, but it's like, I never cared about anyone in this movie. And Joey King's character makes a friend almost immediately in the beginning of the movie, and they're like best friends all of a sudden. It's like they do these things together, but it doesn't really feel like we had time to breathe while they're doing these green screen CGI adventures. The visual effects, I don't want to judge it too harshly. It's a YA Netflix movie, and we've seen films like this before with Joey King in them, not necessarily YA, but these types of films that just sacrifice quality to just get it out there. It's based on a book. Get it out there. They're going to love it. But are they? Are we? This feels like such a missed opportunity because you could have creatively taken this source material and at least tried harder to do something cool with it. But not only because Joey King's in it, but just because it feels like it has all of these formulaic Netflix things about it packaged in a shiny way. I just feel as if this was a lazy adaptation, a very lazy adaptation. This isn't me saying Joey King's bad in this film. I just watched A Family Affair a couple of months ago. Didn't like the movie, but I thought she gave the best performance in the film. I think she's capable. We've seen her be awesome. But in a movie like this, the dialogue that she's given, at times, it was atrocious. Not only the dialogue, but the line reading, which, again, I don't blame her as much for. She's probably acting in front of a green screen with no help from the director. It was rough to watch.
He stinks, and I don't like him.
There's one line in here, someone pulls out a book, and they haven't seen a book in forever because they're living in this weird society, and she goes, is that a book? And it's just like the way she's reading that. I'm thinking, director, hey, buddy, do you want to go over there and maybe encourage her to say that in a less of a strange way? It's just, a lot of the interactions are strange. And I know this is a strange world that we're living here, this not dystopian, but this future where at the age of 16, you have to be pretty because you're all ugly. You're all ugly bastards. You must be pretty. And society's telling us that. So it's like, yeah, we feel like we have to do that. And there's something about the idea of rebellion under immense government control in movies that always fascinates me. And I believe there was a lot here that could have made for something really special, because I'm like, yeah, of course there's going to be a group of people that don't want to do that, and then a group of people that realize something else may be going on here. Don't listen to everything people tell you, kids. That is a message here that reigns true and also plays effectively, because when she gets to this group of people that, again, they're not ugly, but they're trying to convince us that they're ugly, good-looking people, then, it's interesting. And it makes for something that they could have spent a lot of time on. But I almost feel like this could have been like The 100 on the CW. Remember that show? It was a great show. To where we spent a lot of time with these characters and the rebellious forces and finding the people that agree and disagree, but you realize that you have to go up against the other group of people. And that's something, if you have a lot of time, that could be really interesting, but they condense this into like an hour and 40 minutes to where you are flying through this plot. At times, literally flying, but you are flying through this plot, and you get the villain reveals, you get some people that are trying to tell you to do bad stuff, but it's like, I'm conflicted, and our main character that Joey King is playing, I can't remember her name, Tally, that's what Rotten Tomatoes says, she's very, one-dimensional. And there are other characters here. Chase Stokes plays Paris, who's also one-dimensional, but it's the bait and switch by some of these characters where it is so obvious to me that they're like being mind controlled. But the first time she sees him after he becomes pretty, he's like, hey, I'm pretty, I'm going to be a jerk to you now. And nothing really rings in her brain. She's like, yeah, that's strange, but I still want to be pretty. I'm like, y'all just take a second. I know she's supposed to be 15 in this movie, 25 in real life, 15 in this movie. Take a second and just think about what's going on here. Does nothing about this feel weird to you? Does nothing about this feel strange at all? Apparently not. And she's conflicted. She's also saying, should I be honest with the new group of people, or should I kind of lie to them? And so you have that conflict, but that's something that if you would have expanded upon this, and I'm not saying the quality would have been any better with the series, maybe under different directions, some different writers here and there. But I am saying that I could have learned more about them, cared more about these characters, and been more convinced that those who are ugly are actually ugly, but it's the idea that needed way more fleshing out, but I never got it, man. We got to the end of this film, and I'm like, oh, that's it. And then we leave off on a cliffhanger, and I'm thinking, you are kidding me. All of that, and you don't even give me any type of interesting resolution. And I know we're getting another film, unfortunately, but maybe that's how they're going to expand. I get that, but one cohesive, concurrent experience, I got no resolution here. And nothing that left me wanting more. I'm just left going, oh, well, that sucks. There's a moment where the bad guys come looking for one of the characters, and they got everybody on their knees. They got their hands behind their head. They're going, where is your son? And he's just standing 5 feet away, hiding behind a rock. It's like, we have soldiers. No one scoured the area. No one thought to go look behind the rocks. It's like, wow, we cannot find his son. He's right there. Just look. You could see the top of his head. Just to peek over a little bit. I mean, maybe that was intentional, but they didn't act like it was intentional. I'm just like, it is so awkward. It just feels like they're going through the book, scene by scene, and just saying, yeah, they might buy it, they might not, but let's not spend any time on it. I wonder how long it took them to shoot this movie. I say like a week tops. That's that's not true, but it's just what it feels like.
Look at it! It's ugly, isn't it?
Let me know what you think of Uglies down below. Is it as good as the book? If not, I'll probably never read the book, but I would love to know your thoughts on this movie. Again, nothing against the people involved in this movie on screen, but it's a lot of awkwardness across the board. Then if you want more reviews about movies like this, let me know by dropping that thumbs up down below and subscribing if you haven't done that already. Uglies may have interesting themes and a concept that could have worked, but the execution is completely flat. The visuals are awkward, the actors feel directionless, and the experience feels like a mediocre highlight video based around other movies in the genre, other more interesting movies in the genre, I might add. I don't know, man. Maybe it deserves another watch, but that's not happening. So, are you ugly or pretty? I don't know how to end this. So, I'm ugly, and I'm proud.